Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's time for the first look with myself and Millionaire Maker winner Alisha Hunt. And by the way, Alisha, Johnny Danger told me earlier today, this is the 400th podcast on the Dr. Roto podcast network. So we made 400. Who knew?
Yay.
Yeah, exactly. Big momentous. I got to give you your props, by the way. You mentioned Gus Edwards with 2 touchdowns last week. I looked at you like you were nuts. I was wrong. You were right. How did you do last week?
I had a couple that cashed, but nothing that's life-changing. So, I mean, as long as I can win some back or break even, I'm happy.
So I'm going to tell you this tale. This is a tale as old as time. If I showed you the first lineup I had that I did on Wednesday night, I had CJ Stroud, I had Nico Collins, I had Tank Dell, I had Rashad White. Now that was the rest of it. I had Josh Jacobs too, but I also had Devontae Adams, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Why didn't I play it, Alisha? Why don't I listen to myself?
Because none of us do.
But dope.
When I thought about you, I was like, oh, you must be doing pretty well because I know you liked that lineup.
I know. And I mean, I just got stupid there and I decided, well, you know what it was? I wanted Thielen and Jonathan Taylor. And the way to do that was to get O'Connell in there. Well, that's a bad life decision right there when the guy throws for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Right. Yeah. No, he was impressive for sure.
He was. All right, I'm not going back to that well, but I've got a guy this week, Alisha. I don't think you're going to like him, but he's going to be my Wednesday night guy that I'm going to play, and I'm telling you, wild horses couldn't get me to change this lineup.
Okay. Let's see.
All right. I'm totally trying to convince myself because I'm going to change it tomorrow, I'm sure. Okay, Green Bay and Pittsburgh, 39 burger there. I'm going to give you a couple of guys I like. Maybe you hate the game. I have a comment, never Najee, but I think I like Najee Harris this week and I like Aaron Jones this week. And I can see myself playing both those guys. People don't like playing running backs in the same game, but Najee's like $4,900. You're begging me to play him. And Green Bay can't stop the run. Do you like Najee? Do you like Jones? Do you like any part of this game?
I like both of them, yes. And the only other part I really like on there is Deontay Johnson. I wouldn't touch either quarterback. Not much else that I like anywhere else.
You know, it's funny. I want to like George Pickens, but Kenny Pickett doesn't like George Pickens, so it's hard. Or at least he doesn't when Deontay Johnson's on the field, so I can't play him.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let me give you another one here. This is an interesting one. New Orleans at Minnesota. Josh Dobbs looked pretty good. Carr in a dome. He's used to throwing in some domes. So there's a lot of guys. I can see a lot of players that you could give me here. Are there any in particular that you really like?
So I agree with you. I like this game. I think there may be more than, what is the line at 41 is the over? Or that's what it was when I was
41, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it has potential to go over that number. I like the New Orleans passing game with Olave, and I think Thomas might get some action this week because he had nothing last week, and that's not common for him. On the other side of the ball, I like Dobbs because he's a dual threat guy and he's cheap. Akers is out for the season. Madison I like a little bit. And I think Addison and Powell are both really cheap. Osborne's probably going to be out with that concussion. That was a pretty bad one. And Hawkinson's got a rib injury, so I don't know. Is he going to be 100%? He's probably going to suit up, but I don't know if
He played last week and he wasn't 100% and he played well.
Yeah. So I mean, those three on the passing side, and I like Madison for running back, but he can catch passes also. So yeah, I like this game.
So, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was doing my early lineups, two guys that I don't know if I'm playing both or one, but I will be playing at least one of these two.
Yeah.
Powell has to be in play at 3,200. I mean, you and I are the only other two receivers they have out there. They got nothing. And
Right.
Hawkinson, and that New Orleans' slot corner is terrible. So either Powell or Hawkinson will be in that spot, my guess, and then Dobbs, if you remember when he played at Arizona, he threw exclusively to the tight end. So, and Hawkinson, I think, is like $5,000. I could see, are you okay if I use him as a flex play?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so let's see. JS says not to be expected from Dobbs. He was making up as he went and scrambled to a win. Interesting. I think that's about right. But they won. So, but I think you're right. What about Shaheed in this game? Can you get behind Shaheed?
Shaheed is kind of like one of those guys that gets a pass here and there and makes it a touchdown. He's kind of a dart every time you use him, I think.
Right.
Unfortunately.
True. All right, here's this next one. And I don't know whether this is the game of the week or the sucker game of the week. Houston and Cincinnati. People are going to want to play this game. We've been watching the Texans play great. We've been watching Joe Burrow look like Joe Burrow, the one we know and love. But Chase didn't practice today. I think they're going to suit it up. But do we feel like this is a heavy people are going to be owning these guys more than they should?
Yes, I think you're right on that. If I was to go with either of them, I don't see Stroud having the same game as he did last week against Cincinnati. I do have some interest in Burrow, and believe it or not, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually have some interest in Mixon.
Now, why Mixon? Texans have been a little stingy against running backs. What do you like? Or are you looking at Rachaad White part 2?
Partially that, but also Mixon has the ability to catch short passes, and I think with their offense being banged up, I think he's going to be part of their offense, their passing offense. He's also good in the red zone to rush the ball in. So I see him getting at least a touchdown this week.
I mean, he's looked better. I'm not going to lie. He has looked better. Stroud, I feel like the defensive coordinator here for Cincinnati is very good at making adjustments in the middle of games. And I just feel like Stroud has everybody's attention. But I was trying to explain this to my son. And I said last week, and it's why I'm so upset at myself for not sticking with my original idea. You had a zone defense with a quarterback who loves throwing against zones, with receivers who love playing against zones. And on the opposite side, you had a guys in White and in Otten who fit the other perfectly, because the Texans don't really stop the run. They let up catches to the backfield, and they don't stop the tight end. So it was like this perfect convergence of a big score.
Yep, agreed.
I don't see that this week.
No, and this may even, I mean, I do actually like a little bit of Boyd and Irv Smith in this game also, but it's not really one I'm going to go after. I think it might be less of a score than they're predicting.
I agree with you. I think you're right. Yeah. I've got a sneaky one coming up soon. Cleveland, Baltimore is not my sneaky one, actually. I think this feels lower scoring to me, and it feels like it has stay away. Stay away. What do you think?
Yeah, this looks like a defensive game to me. Not real interested in it at this point. Won't be going back to Gus. Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of a girl's game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can't really think of a player I like in this game, so I'm going to go to another game here that I do think is sneaky, and this could have the convergence factor from last week. Tennessee against Tampa Bay. Now, my biggest concern is this. I really want to get behind Will Levis, but he's never really seen the Tampa 2. He's never really seen this defense. Will it matter? Does he have a big enough arm? Because I don't think you can run real well against Tampa. So I worry about Henry in this game. But what's your thoughts on this game? Could be higher scoring than we think.
Yes, I agree. And I actually, in my lineup that I'll go through, I actually have Levis and Hopkins stacked. I think Hopkins he's a lock this week for sure.
Are you running it back with Mike Evans against that man coverage, or do you like Godwin, or what are you doing?
Maybe Evans, maybe Otten again. That might have been kind of a fluky game last week with Otten. I don't like either running backs in this game. I think there's not going to be much production there on that part. Yeah. No, I like Levis with Hopkins. That's my favorite stack.
Yeah, it's my second favorite stack. I'll give you my favorite stack coming up soon. Jacksonville and San Francisco. So look, you can't really run very well against Jacksonville, but you can throw on them. McCaffrey's had a week off. Deebo Samuel's back. Maybe Brock Purdy's head is more clear with the concussion. Do you like this game as an under-the-radar flyer game?
I do. I think Purdy's going to have a little bounce back here. And with Deebo back in the game, I think he's going to get a lot of action. McCaffrey's always super expensive, but super worth it in most cases. I really like the Jaguars. I think this game has a lot of potential.
I do too. I'm trying to, let me see here. I think it was a 40. Yeah, it's a 45. This could be an over to me easily.
Yeah. And ETN, he's my 2 touchdown guy this week.
Look at that. ETN with the 2 touchdowns. There you have it. Felicia calls it. I'm believing it. All right. This is the game here. It's not my favorite play, but it's something that I think I want to figure out how I can play it. Detroit against the Chargers. I want to get Laporta. I want to get Allen. I want to get St. Brown. I know I want all these pieces in. Can I afford the pieces in this game, Alisha, or is it too hard?
Yeah, you're going to have to go to some. I mean, you might have to throw Powell in there. You're going to have to throw a cheap running back in there. You're probably not going to be able to pick Dallas as your defense. But I'm sure there's a way you can get behind building it.
I'm trying right now. I'm just picking some of the names that we've talked about already. So let's see if I can get our guy here. Just bear with me.
Yeah.
One moment, please. Please hold. Please continue to hold. All right. I'm trying to see. You said you like Najee, right?
I do.
All right. So right now, I see it's tight. Who's the worst defense that you can stomach? Can you stomach Arizona? Because I can.
I think so, yeah. I was going to say they're probably, out of all of them, I might even be able to stomach the Jaguars.
All right, so I'll go Jaguars. Give ourselves an extra 100. I can get Levis, Najee, St. Brown, Allen, Powell, Laporta, Hopkins, Jacksonville lineup.
Not bad.
Leaves me $5,400, which is in the Brian Robinson, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Devin Singletary, Jalen Warren range. Vomitus?
Let's see.
Pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I don't. Let's see. What was the price range?
5,400.
5,400. Okay. No. I think Ford's probably going to get the majority of the work going forward.
Right. Me too.
But against Baltimore, I don't love it. I don't want anything to do with Houston running backs this week.
I know. Oh, see, and Mixon becomes way too expensive. Madison is doable, but we'd have to go to like the worst defense known. We'd have to go put the Giants in there.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. Not after
Yeah.
last week.
All right, got to keep tweaking.
Yeah. It's
All
got a
right.
good start, though.
It is. So let's talk about Detroit and the Chargers. Do you like Montgomery? Do you think he plays? Do you like Gibbs? Do you like Goff on the road? Tell me about Detroit first.
So I would like them. I think they're both great running backs, but they're both way too expensive for the split work they're going to get.
Okay.
So I like Laporta the best. I like St. Brown. I really like Herbert. I don't love Goff. I probably wouldn't. I don't know if I would really pick him to stack with those two guys, or if I would put all of them in at the same time. Maybe they're just pieces that I put in. I do like the Charger side of things a little better. I do like Eckler. Keenan Allen's always a play, and I think
Herbert Eckler over Allen.
I would even stack Herbert, Allen, and Eckler, and then maybe run it back with St. Brown if you're going to run it back, or Laporta. Not both.
I can't afford that. I can do it. So here, I'm trying to do something different. I think I can get this done, Alisha. I can. I think I may even be able to get our guy in there. Let me see. This is going to be tight. Yeah. Oh, no, I can't do that. Give me another receiver besides Hopkins, or do you just love Hopkins?
No, I do, but what price range are you looking?
So did you like Boyd?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have, ready? Justin Herbert, Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. So we got the little stack there. Tyler Boyd, Brandon Powell, Sam Laporta, Jacksonville's defense, and I've got 4,300 in my flex.
All right.
Does that work for you? Does that work a little better?
Yeah, I like that. 4,300 in flex, huh? Let's see. Well, you've got Shaheed in there. If he gets a touchdown, it's worth it.
I was thinking about that. Right, that's the home run GPP play, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's he got it, and you've got a touchdown, and good. It's worth it then.
So, I mean, I think there's something to that. I think you showed me a way that we can get Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Laporta. I have to give up St. Brown, which I don't want to do. But, look, I can't have everything I want in life. I'm trying.
True.
All right, Arizona, Atlanta, Kyler Murray expected back. Does that change your outlook on Hollywood Brown? Does it change your outlook? Do you like Bijan? What do you like in this game?
So really so I like Jonnu Smith on the Atlanta side, and I don't know if Connor's going to be back in. If Connor plays, I like Connor. Personally, I think this game is projected too high. And
at 44?
Yeah, Kyler Murray, he hasn't played. I
agree.
I don't think he's going to come out and throw up 30 points. I just don't.
Or
20 even.
I love the Cardinals defense this week against Heineke. I love it. He makes mistakes. You're getting them on the cheap. I don't care if it's chalky, but it allows me to get things in that I know I need. Because as JS said, we're going to have to put up 250, 270 points to win $1 million this week.
Yep, totally. You're going to have to get some points. And, speaking of Bijan, like, I don't know what the hell they're doing in Atlanta. It's like, I don't understand.
I don't think Arthur Smith understands. So if he doesn't, then you can't.
Sometimes it blows my mind that these guys are coaches in the NFL. It's like, what are you doing?
It's funny. I was talking to one of my very close friends who's a big NFL guy, and he said, there's a lot of bad quarterbacks and there's a lot of bad coaches. It just seems like you look at the league. Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback. 5 or 7 years ago, he would have been a top 20 quarterback.
Yeah.
And the coaches are abysmal. I mean, I don't know why we can't find better people running teams. I don't know. So JS asks, Alisha, thoughts on Parham, 2 touchdowns maybe. Is he a cheap way to get a piece of this game against Detroit? And Detroit, as JS knows, bad against tight ends. Bad.
Parham for 2 touchdowns, huh?
Or do you like Gerald Everett? Do you like a Charger tight end?
Honestly, if I had to pick one or the other, I do like Parham better. But I don't know if 2 touchdowns is that's a shot to the moon, I think.
Good point.
Unfortunately.
All right, 2 more games. I'm going to save my favorite for last. The Giants and Dallas. Do we just play Dallas's defense? I mean, I know they're going to be costly. I get it. But 4,400, Tommy DeVito's the quarterback. And I worry that the Giants aren't going to score. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pick some Dallas players here, but they're all pretty expensive, and it's just going to be a blowout, I think.
So no Pollard, no CeeDee Lamb, no nothing.
I don't like Pollard as much as everybody likes him this week. I think he's a little expensive. There's other options out there that I like better. CeeDee Lamb is outstanding. Dak, if I was going to pick something here, I might pick Dak and maybe Ferguson just to keep it on a little bit cheaper. I think Ferguson's been doing pretty well. He's going to get some action. I think they're not going to have. I don't know if they get up far ahead enough. I think they're going to take some of these guys out, and CeeDee Lamb's probably going to rest. He's too expensive to put in this week.
I don't know how much he's going to go for, but a little Rico Dowdle anytime touchdown makes me happy this week.
Yep, agreed.
Or I could even see him starting him like, let me see how much he is, because I know he's jumped. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not. But he's 4,300. Remember we needed that 4,300 play earlier?
Yeah.
That's a guy that in the third, fourth quarter, he's playing. They're up 30-0. He's getting that touchdown. It's 37-0. And Dowdle just scored. And you're like, how'd that happen?
No, I agree with you. I looked at him when you said you had that much left, and I thought maybe if they get up far enough, they'll put him in.
Yeah. All right. My absolute favorite game of this week, don't hate me, Seattle against Washington. I love Geno Smith. I love DK Metcalf. I'm okay using a lot of pieces in this game. I think people are going to be down on Geno. He's been disgusting this year. This is like the perfect storm game. At home against a bad defense. The pass rush is not nearly as good. They're coming off a big win against New England. Everybody's thinking Washington's winning this game. I'm not that guy. Thoughts?
That wasn't my first thought on the game, but it does have a sneaky way to get there. I actually liked Howell better just because. So the 2 quarterbacks on this slate that have the most passing touchdowns are Howell and CJ Stroud, and we know Howell gets sacked 100 times a game, has the most sacks, but the guy throws for a lot of yards also, so he gets decent points. I don't know how I feel about Geno yet.
You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to despise him. I want you to.
He helped me win the million last year.
2%. I want to get him at 2%. But don't you think that everybody eventually has to have the big week? Geno has not had the 275 and 3 touchdown week. DK Metcalf has been poo all year. There has to be this breakout game.
You like him over Lockett?
I don't know that yet. I haven't studied it. I haven't done the deeper dive. I know that I will go with Geno with either Lockett or Metcalf, depending on. I think Washington plays slightly more man than zone. I've got to look at what they've done more recently. If they're more man, I'm going to go with Metcalf. If it's more zone, for sure I'll go Lockett. I know you like Lockett.
I do like Lockett. And I love Geno too. I just don't I don't know how I feel about him this week. He just hasn't really been doing a whole lot for me. And in fact, I put in a lineup every week with Geno just because he helped me win the Millie last year, and so he holds a special place to me. But he hasn't done anything. I'm waiting for that week where he does something special and nobody else is on him, and I've yet to have it. So that's this week? Okay. I'll let you have it. But don't change it if that's what you're putting in.
I'm telling you not. The only thing I'm going to change is the peripherals. I'm not changing the concept. But I don't know who to run it back with because I don't love McLaurin. If Curtis Samuel plays, I could get very interested.
What about Dotson?
I love Dotson, but Sam doesn't always like Dotson.
That's true.
Right.
But if Samuel's out, he might have to.
Right. So I think it all comes down to Samuel. Dotson's questionable with he's absent for some reasons here. And Samuel, will he play? Yeah, he practiced. And Logan Thomas, every time I play this dude, he kills me. I'm just done with him. Done.
It's going to be one of those weirdo games where Gibson gets 2 passing touchdowns.
Well, he's who I have right now in that lineup because I figure if the game goes like I think, Gibson's going to need to be out there catching a few passes.
Yep.
All right, talk to me. Give me the lineup that I'm going to enter and see how we can win people money. What you got for me?
All right. First look here, I've got Will Levis. We've got ETN and Mixon.
All right, hold on. I got to find them. Easy on me. So ETN and Mixon. Okay, receivers. I know it's Hopkins.
Yeah. We've got Jordan Addison.
All right, hold on. Easy. Hopkins, Addison. Okay, who else?
I currently have Noah Brown in here, although I don't know if I'm going to keep him in there. I think he still may get some targets this week and be worth his price.
Tight end?
Dalton Schultz.
Okay. Dallas's defense?
Dallas's defense, and then I've got Olave in my flex.
Interesting. All right. So right now, that's 126.1, according to the optimizer I'm using. I'm going to put in Geno. I'm going to put in Never Najee, and I'm going to put in Never Antonio. I'm going to put in Metcalf. I'm going to put in Laporta, who I couldn't imagine not putting in. I got to get St. Brown, I think. And who's the other dude? Allen, right? Keenan Allen. Yeah. And then I've got to go Arizona's defense. Ooh, I don't know if I can do this, Alisha. It's killing me. I'm a little low. All right, I'm taking out Amari St. Brown. I'll put in your guy Hopkins, and then that leaves me 4,900, which is not going to be pretty. So I'll go with your guy who I like, Michael Thomas. I agree with that. That's 121. What did I say you were at?
126.
Yeah, you're 126. See, it's the Gibson. The Gibson thing kind of soils this team.
Yeah. But it's one of those weeks where he'll do something weird like that.
Right. So it's almost like that's a good question I have for you. It seems like the times that the teams are the best are when you're the most uncomfortable. You know, when you're like, ugh, and that's when that team goes off. But when it feels comfortable, you know something's wrong. Do you agree with that?
I do, absolutely. I'm trying to look at each game. You win when you win $1 million. You look back at your lineup a million times, and you go, okay, so here's what my strategy was. And then so I'm going through each game and I'm writing it up, and I've probably been sitting at this computer for like 5 hours now, just writing all my notes on each game and whatnot. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, Houston, Cincinnati, God, I just don't know if this is going to be as high scoring as it should be. And like, yes, you're right. So go with your first instinct. What do you think? Cleveland, Baltimore, I think it's going to be a defensive game. I like Jacksonville and San Francisco. You know what I mean? So you sit there, but then you have to go through and pick the pieces out that are going to help you win that nobody else is looking at in each game.
Do you play 150 lineups?
No.
You know, Utica is really a great player. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he won first place.
But the dude plays everything. He must play 300,000-400,000 a weekend. Like if he wins $1 million, he's making, $500,000. You and I win $1 million, we're making, $998,000. Yeah. But like, I find that when you're playing with 150 lineups, you're bound to have that one outlier guy from your optimizer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I read an article on him, and he spends, I believe, anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a weekend on every Sunday. And it's like, how can you can't win that back? Like, the amount of money that some of these guys spend is like crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm even thinking about reeling it back in until I feel like I'm picking the right guys. Okay, like when I write up my Millie Maker, most of the guys that I'm picking are doing well, so I've got that down. My problem is putting them together and finding pieces that are going to go off, if you will, that nobody else is looking at. So I need to get better at finding those pieces on those given lineups, because some of the guys I'm like, oh, I think he's going to do this. Well, that's not good enough. You know what I mean? You can't predict. There's a reason why these guys, like there was a reason why Noah Brown. Yeah, I agree with him. I think
Let me tell you the difference, Alisha. I knew if you listen to the Discord, I called Noah Brown. I did. Yeah. I called him, but it's not just saying it, but it's having the conviction to put your money behind it.
Right.
And I played 3 lineups last week. I had Noah Brown in 1. Mm-hmm. Why didn't I have him in 3?
Right.
But I didn't have the conviction that, even though I called it on Discord on Sunday morning, I said Noah Brown was going to play great, and he did. So I give myself credit for that, but I don't give myself credit for not standing tall with, if I believe it, be willing to go down with the ship and not, I've got so much FOMO going on. And I think a lot of people do. Ooh, I don't want to not have this guy, or I'm not sure about this guy, or what about this guy, that we end up not having that core. My core last week should have been Rachaad White and Noah Brown in every lineup, every single lineup.
Yep. With
Stroud. Without that, you can't win. I think the smart players put 40% of action in the same guys.
Yep. And one of my other problems too is I'm writing up these guys and then I don't even use them in my lineup. Like, what the hell? What's wrong with me?
I know. I go,
that guy went off.
You said something that was very smart. Utica, I saw his player pool last week. Our pools were spot on. Maybe we had 1 or 2 different players, but for the most part, I had his player pool. So at least I know I'm in the right spot,
yep.
Right? And JS said, yeah, you were thinking about diversification. He's right. You're trying to think about how I can be different, as opposed to, let me ask you this, Alisha, when you've won your most money, are you using the same core on every team, or are you spreading the love?
I would say that if I feel very strongly about a quarterback and a wide receiver stack, let's say, I'm using that receiver on all my lineups. So yeah. Usually I'm only, when I put in more than 1 for the Millie, let's say I put 5 in, I'm using a lot of the same core receivers and maybe a running back, but I'm switching up some of the quarterbacks because, I'm stacking one, but then I'll use another guy to stack, but I'll use that same piece. So,
but for example, would DeAndre Hopkins be on all 5 lineups?
Yes, absolutely. This week he will.
Will Brandon Powell be on all 5 lineups?
No.
Okay. Will Najee be in all 5?
No.
Who else besides Hopkins makes all 5?
ETN.
Okay. So ETN and Hopkins, those are your guys. Win or lose, you're going with those guys.
I'm going with them.
Right. And I think that conviction is important. I'm willing to even be, like when I do golf, and I know you play fantasy golf as well. I love it. The best weekends I've had are when I have 4 guys and I rotate 2 guys around those 4.
Yep.
Because if those 4 hit, pretty good chance I'm going to be a rich friend that weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, before we let you go, give me a guy. Who's the guy?
I'm going with ETN this week, 2 touchdowns.
Wow. You know, I don't know. I don't see it, but if I don't see it, that must mean I need to bet it. I'm going to bet it because you said to do it. All right, my guy this week is Sam Laporta. I think he's in 100% of my lineups. I can't not have him.
Okay.
All right, there you have it. So everybody out there, thank you for being part of the 400th episode or 400th podcast that's here on the Dr. Roto Podcast Network. And we wish you a ton of luck. You can listen to me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio on Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern if you want to wake up early. And of course, on Sunday morning, get to drroto.com, get in our Discord chat. We're there from 10:30 to about 11:50 answering all your questions. All right? For Alisha Hunt, the Millionaire Maker, hopefully she gets another one this weekend and rivals you to cow. Who knows? And Dr. Roto, be well and take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.